Hey, Black Barn Social Club, God bless America. I'm changing it up a little bit. I was out here packing some shirts and getting everything squared away, and so everything behind the camera right now is a bloody mess. So we're gonna flip it around. We're gonna make it a little bit more relaxed. We're talking bags. I mean, for that matter, we can talk about whatever. But since I'm the only one sitting here, I kind of have to make my mind up beforehand. So we're going to call this talking bags, talking gear, whatever. So I had done a bag video, kind of just a show and tell of an Eberly stock switchblade, and yes, it's that bag is a little bit. It's kind of walking the line of commando cool, military style, and I do carry it into the office, and I use it for my everyday carry and things like that. But like a lot of things, I am a walking conundrum of style and how I'm feeling. So when I travel and when I pack up my bigger bags, I've got all kinds of bags, and I've got all kinds of duffels, all kinds of weekender bags, all kinds of just, it's almost like pick your flavor. And some of these bags I just gravitate towards more. Now, in terms of when I'm going somewhere for 3 to 4 days, I've got a boatload of short travel bags, short-term travel bags that are well organized and this, that, and the other. A lot of them look a little bit techy. A lot of them look a little bit, whether it's rip-stoppy or whether it's that PVC coated North Face bags, that are a little more waterproof. But in a lot of ways, I always try to lean nostalgic for some reason. So like you guys might have seen, I'm pointing to the back of the, what used to be the backdrop, or what is the backdrop. So I've got a couple items up there. I've got like a Filson Weekender duffel, and that's one of those messenger type bags. It's like a dark green canvas waxed material. And it's pretty good for really short, maybe overnight and your office stuff. But what's in front of me right now, and I'm going to try to figure out a way to show you guys this, talk to it without having a table in front of me. But what's in front of me is something else of that. I don't know how I'd describe this bag. It's the Filson Pullman bag. In this case, it's the Filson extra large Pullman bag. So this is kind of a luxury. I call it luxury. I call it, it's a Filson brand. It's twill. It's ridiculously heavy duty, and it still matches. It still fits on carry on. Ridiculously thick leather harness leather. Accents, handles, carries, crossbody carries. I mean, it's Filson through and through. I can't even say why. In my mind, like I said, I'm a walking contradiction. Sometimes I like a black Oakley duffel bag, and I just, sometimes I just like that. Sometimes I wear tennis shoes. But to me, when you're traveling like this, there's that part of me that just reaches for that nostalgia of something like this, of a bag like this with heavy brass zippers and leather pulls and a name like Filson that some would say means quality, some would say used to mean quality, and now it's been bought out and bastardized, and you may or may not get quality. But what I'll speak to is what this bag feels like. Dimensions roughly, like I said, it's about as big as you can get in a carry-on. You're not putting it under the seat, but you can put it up above. If I'm being honest, I don't necessarily like taking it on a plane, because if you can see this, it's got good carry handles. So this is the crossbody carry. So it's, this hangs from one side of the bag, and this is just something, because I travel so much, something like this bothers me. Let me tell you why. Filson, a lot of these bags that look like this have attach points that are, they're diagonal on the bag, so that when you carry it across your body or on one shoulder, the bag itself stays, pulled to you. But in this case, Filson put both hook points. I can't believe I'm actually going to, before I even talk about the bag, I'm going to start knocking it, but that's what you get. You're getting a real review. They put both carry points on one side. Now, if you can tell, this bag is every bit of 10 inches, probably 9 inches on the side, but stuffed, it'll be 10, 12 inches wide. That's a lot when you're carrying that on one side of your body, because the bag tends to be out here and it tends to fall away from you, so you're always bumping into people with this. So I'm just going to go ahead and call it, that's critique number one. One of the other things that bother me about this bag, you can see there's zippers on both sides. Let me get it up here where you can see. Zippers on both sides of the bag, right here and here. And because of the way the leather straps are, now I get it. I get what they were thinking. This has got that heavy, thick, bridal leather all the way around it. It makes it an attractive bag. You can see it goes all the way around. But when you're carrying this bag, good luck getting into those zippers, because they're blocked by the straps. So there's just some stuff here that I think that Filson, when they designed this, again, this is the extra large Pullman bag. When they designed it, they didn't design it intelligently. They didn't design it in terms of a traveler or somebody that was needing to access it very frequently. They just made a ridiculously thick twill bag and then slapped leather all over it with some really great hooks and brass and some monster zippers that, I mean, the zippers they're good. They're big and toothy. I can't imagine having a problem with this. This is it's kind of a lifetime bag. And that's one of those things that I like I said, when I talk about gravitating towards something, there's just that part of me that gives points, even if it's in spite of its styling or design. I give points to the fact that people are making something so rugged, so durable, and so classy. And that's what I feel like this is. If I'm being, again, I'm saying that, if I'm being too critical, you'll have to forgive me, but when you pay this kind of money, you kind of expect something that's not only well put together, well thought out. You just expect a lot from it. So, in terms of what's inside, I mean, again, good snaps, good buttons. I can't knock the leather. This leather is easily thicker than anything that I've ever had. I mean, there are very few bags made with this kind of leather. But let me show you what I'm talking about. You see how that hangs like this? Imagine trying to get through a busy airport with this much bag hanging off your side. Now, what would have helped, and I'm just saying this out loud, what would have helped is putting one of these points on the outside so that at least it pulls the other side of the bag to you as well. But they didn't think about that. So now let's talk about what's inside here, because organization, non-existent. Outside of you do have the pocket on the outside, no organization. It's just a deep, wide crevice that and again, when the bag is full, it's going to be thin. On the other side, it's the same song, second verse. I'm trying to keep an eye on the camera and see if I'm pointing to the right things. But, again, you got this thin pocket that's the depth of the whole bag. But, again, it's, you can probably fit some papers, maybe a laptop, something like that. But it's not padded, outside of just the ridiculously thick leather, twill. So with the leather that goes around this bag, again, it's I mean, they've got half their money tied up in leather, and that's no question. Stylish-wise, it does have that throwback look. I love that. That's what draws it to me, is it's just got that old school throwback to it. I'm not sure if they still make the Pullman. You can find them on eBay. You can find them, around. Cost of these things, I think new, they were upwards of maybe $800, $795, something like that. I mean, they're messenger bags, the 48-hour duffel and things like that. I mean, those are pushing $450. I mean, that's just what these $495, whatever. That's what these things are commanding. And I'm not going to say it's not worth it. I'm just going to say, I mean, your mileage may vary. Let me get to the inside of this bag, because this is yet another possible disappointment, or just something to know. If you like this style, this is a full clamshell opening suitcase. I'm going to call it a suitcase because of when you see the inside, you'll know what I mean. You could argue or use it as a duffel if you wanted. That's probably the way a lot of people use it. But if you'll look, it does have the full clamshell opening. But look at the organization in here. You remember those old school suitcases? Sorry about the mic. But you remember those old school suitcases that had these straps? And so what you do, and I guess in theory, what you're supposed to do here is lay this thing out, fold up your clothes, put them all in there, and then strap them down with these sewn-in straps. I think it's one of those deals that in style and design, they were going for, I feel like I'm beating the word nostalgia to death, but that's what they were doing. They were going for the nostalgia of those clamshell suitcases. Here's where they flopped, in my opinion. Well, and no pun intended. You see how floppy this bag is? See how sloppy it is? When you lay this thing out, there's no form to it. So when you're tucking your clothes in, there's nothing to push it against. There's no rigidity. So I mean, basically, this thing's just a sloppy mess laid out, and you start filling it up with your clothes. Each side turns into this 4-inch deep pocket. I'll never be able to sell this bag if I put it on eBay just because of this review. So just know that this I'm going to be buried with this bag. I still like it in terms of what it is, but I'm a bag snob. So I mean, to me, it's kind of one of those deals that if you're going to make something like this, you need to make it well. With no rigidity, with all this being sloppy, it kind of makes it tough to organize your stuff. So here's where I'm going to pitch, those travel cubes and things like that. If you're gonna travel, and like I do with this bag, I get the travel cubes, I pack my stuff individually, and then I place them in here, and it all works. Problem is if you're carrying this on and you got that thing zipped up, you really got to think about your organization, or else, because when you go back into this bag, you may or may not be able to get to all the items. So that being said, I mean, it's a very simple bag. Like I said, I've shown you everything on it now. I mean, the whole thing consists of the clamshell center pocket and 2 side pockets on either side. There's nothing left to talk about on it except for the fact that, it's this guaranteed Filson product. So if I ever have a problem with a zipper or things like that, I mean, I can send it off to them and they'll fix it. I don't anticipate ever having a problem with it. It's just that well built. If that's what you're looking for, maybe it's your bag. It does have that look that Filson just has. Again, I feel like they're one of those companies that just I don't know, maybe they get a pass sometimes on having to really compete with other people in design and things like that, because there's so many new companies, up and coming companies, that do travel bags now so much better because they put more time into their design than they do chasing, again, that image. But let's be fair, as guys, we do we do still shop with our emotions. We still, you know, and when I saw this bag, I immediately thought, man, that's classy. It's rugged. It, you know, it'll look cool. It'll look cool going onto a plane, and it does. It just, you know, be prepared to take it off and carry it by the handles, because this crossbody strap is just damn near useless. It really feels like you got a sidecar on the side of you. So I don't know. I don't know if it's worth taking that to somebody and saying, hey, see if you can't cut this and put me an anchor point on the opposite side. Probably not. But hopefully Filson's new stuff that they're putting out, they've heard some of those discussions and they've addressed them. But so again, that's really all I got to say about this bag. I kind of wanted to mix it up and keep doing at least once every couple of weeks, do something different than the boots and the style. So talking bags, I'm going to call this a 3 to 4 day travel bag. The Filson Pullman extra large, well built, quality materials, heritage type product. You can pass this thing down to your family. Poorly thought out, poorly designed. But I guess they sold me on it. So maybe that's, again, maybe, are we asking for too much? I mean, are we asking for too much when we do this? I'm going to sit back and we're just going to chill for a little bit. Yeah, I don't know. This is, like I said, and if you're wondering, yes, I can cross my legs like apparently this. So that's all I got. You guys be blessed. Talk soon.